Have you ever wondered how the vast oceans of data generated by businesses every single day can be harnessed not just to inform decisions, but actively drive innovation and efficiency across the entire organisation? Well, today on Tech Talks Daily, we're going to be diving into the world of business intelligence and data analytics with a special focus on how technology is evolving to meet the ever-changing needs of businesses. And joining me today, I've got Mike Palmer. He's the CEO of Sigma Computing. And I've invited him to join me on the podcast today to shed light on how Sigma is leading the change in making data analytics not only more accessible, but also more integral to business strategy and operations, allowing technology to be seen as a business enabler. So from the evolution of business intelligence to the pivotal role of high-quality data and the pathway to sustainable tech growth, today I want to uncover how organisations can leverage data to not just survive, but thrive in today's competitive landscape. Now, before I get today's guest on, a quick shout-out to the sponsors of Tech Talks Daily, because in today's remote-first world, I think settling for outdated managed file transfer solutions means ultimately you're risking your sensitive data. But if you upgrade to Kiteworks, the gold standard in secure MFT, boasting FedRAMP moderate authorization, Kiteworks isn't just secure, it's a complete transformation of how your business handles file transfers and the communications. So say goodbye to compromise and hello to unmatched security and efficiency. And you can do that by making the switch to kiteworks.com. Visit kiteworks.com to begin. That's kiteworks.com to secure your data and empower your business. But now, let's get today's guest on. So buckle up and hold on tight, because today I'm going to beam your ears all the way to San Francisco, where you can sit down and enjoy a lovely conversation with myself and Mike Palmer, CEO of Sigma Computing. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Mike. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
I am the CEO of Sigma Computing. I joined here about 4 years ago and joined co-founders Rob Willen and Jason France, and they were on a journey to build a data product that was accessible to everyone. That was kind of the core philosophy, and I really, having built a career in tech, really felt like this was kind of the next wave, and has been excited to be here ever since then.
And things like business intelligence can often be very confusing, daunting, or overwhelming for people outside of that space. And one of the things I try and do every day is demystify different areas in technology and business and the impacts that they're both having on one another. So Sigma Computing is described as not just another business intelligence tool, but a revolutionary cloud analytics solution with a spreadsheet-like interface. That scares me because that's not my world. But can you explain how this unique interface facilitates data exploration at cloud scale and speed, and why it's particularly effective for businesses across so many industries? Because you're solving real-world problems here, right?
We are across every vertical. We're across every department, which is really unique in the software world. We're coming from a world where, in particular, Silicon Valley built products for technical experts. And, we really set out to appeal to the everybody. And we'll talk a little bit about that spreadsheet interface, but we offer an interface for all kinds of different skill sets, whether they are Python or SQL or natural language, or of course the spreadsheet. But I would step back and say, Sigma is an experts data tool built for all of us. And I think that core idea that the average person that shows up to an enterprise every single day wants to be empowered to do their job. The kind of what's changed is that over the last 10 or 15 years, as the world adopted public cloud, where the volumes of data have exploded, where the compute capacity to take advantage of that data has also exploded. All of this has become increasingly cost-effective. And then we had these amazing databases that were deployed on top of them by companies like Snowflake and Databricks. That really changed the infrastructural world. But it didn't change much for the people trying to access that data. And that's where Sigma comes in. And while I definitely appreciate your point that your world may not be spreadsheets, spreadsheets are the way that most people do their jobs today. They learned that skill starting when Microsoft Excel launched in 1985. And if you look at the product today, it's more or less the same product this many decades later. They're super comfortable working in rows and columns. And we have found a way to capture the power of all of the cloud developments with the simplicity of the spreadsheet interface that people do their jobs in every day. You put those two things together, you create that level of empowerment. And that empowerment, because it's such a universal skill, that empowerment is in every vertical, it is in every department, and it is global.
Yeah, 100% with you there. As you said, it is a universal skill that people can just pick up and play straight away. And one of the things that put you on my radar, I was looking at your recent New York Stock Exchange Floor Talk interview, and in this, you touched upon various topics, including the evolution of business intelligence over the years. So I'm curious, from your perspective, how has business intelligence evolved in recent years, and what role does Sigma play in that transformation? Because so much has changed in this space, hasn't it?
A lot has changed in this space for sure. And I think that the first thing to recognize about BI, or better said about the industry in general, is that we're kind of emerging from the era of infrastructure into the data era. And I kind of focus on this because it would have been really difficult to take advantage of large-scale data if you didn't have large-scale compute, storage, and database platforms underpinning it. And BI lacked that underpinning. BI was always constrained by the fact that it was attached to some sort of application in some sort of data silo. And we, in effect, created another layer of complexity on that with BI, where some expert that really knew how to write SQL or build a dashboard for you had to sit between you and the data you needed to do your job. And so as a result, BI's definition was constrained by the infrastructure, and it basically became, can I get a chart for historical data? That's been BI since almost day one. And users don't really want that. That is a component of what they need to do their jobs. So in that floor talk, what I was alluding to here is that if you step back and actually ask the user what they need, they want a perspective on the past. They want to know what the trend looks like. But no one gets paid to tell you history. People get paid to forecast the future and make decisions. And that's what the spreadsheet has been about. The spreadsheet is where we put our forecasts. The spreadsheet is where we add our data input. The spreadsheet is where we reconcile things that don't make sense. And what Sigma has done is taken all of the benefits of BI, but combine them with all of the benefits of spreadsheets. So now the definition of BI can be much broader. BI can give us history, but BI can also collect data from the end user, create forecasts, do that on live data, do it in real time, do it collaboratively. So now we can do our jobs by coming in every day and having the best view on the data we've had from history, provide various views on what the future might look like, and then ultimately, by the way, because it is live, automate the outcomes as well. So what Sigma's proud of here is not necessarily being next-gen BI, and in fact, we sort of recoil from that description. We want to change the whole definition of what it means for the average person to leverage data, to trend history, to create forecasts, to execute on live data, to collaborate across the enterprise, and ultimately create automations to make them more successful in their jobs.
And something else that I wanted to bring up with you today is the explosion of data sources from so many different areas now. And by that, I mean everything from mobile to IoT devices. And I think as a result, so many businesses in so many different industries are facing the challenge of turning an increasingly vast amount of data streams into actionable insights. So with that in mind, is there anything you can share around the importance of elements such as data awareness, accuracy, collaboration and governance in achieving that data-driven success? Because it can feel, again, quite daunting with so much data there. And we've all seen what happens with garbage in and garbage out. There's a bit of a fine art to this, isn't there?
There is definitely always going to be a balance, and we talk in huge scale. Our customers have hundreds of billions of records and growing at a rapid rate. And on the positive side, due to some of the infrastructure unlocks, we have the opportunity to now make data a core strategy and a core differentiator. We think about financial services companies. At their core, they're data arbitrage businesses. I think that idea is about to come to all vertical industries, where people look at the data that they have, they want more of it, they want it from different sources because diversity is a good thing in data, And they want to then be able to have their unique view of the world. Now, the question that you're asking then is, okay, we have huge amounts of data. It's coming from everywhere. How do we know that it's good data? How do we know we're getting it into the right hands? And you're right. Sigma, therefore, has to strike the balance between access for the everybody, but at the same time, providing tools that make sure that the data is well governed, that the data is accurate, and then it reflects kind of what the enterprise wants that person to pursue. So we provide tools to do that. We provide the ability to create approvals on data sets. We have metrics capabilities so that, for example, when an enterprise says, this is the revenue formula, that the whole enterprise uses that formula and they don't create a different one. That sort of idea is built into the product. At the same time, we do something that is far better than the average data product. And that is when we allow that end user to interact with data, the data itself never leaves the customer's warehouse. And as a result, security is maintained, lineage is maintained. There's telemetry on every single action that's taken. We have a very unique feature where we allow end users to add data to the warehouse through Sigma. And again, because the data stays in the warehouse, we know who added it, when they added it, and what they added. So the idea that we can take a lot of empowerment and combine it with a big safety net of security and governance is really at the core of what Sigma is.
And as you said there, it's the importance of good data. And having read about Sigma, I know that you aim to make high-quality decisions based on high-quality data. And if we look under the hood here, is there anything you can share around the kind of strategies or indeed technologies that you employ to ensure that data used by organizations is both accurate and accessible and foster that culture of informed decision-making? Because I think so many businesses around the world now, they're all pushing forward with data-driven decision-making. It's so important, but it's, again, getting that balance right and having the right strategy, the right technology in place, right?
The story of enterprise productivity is the story of technology. And I'd like to start with accessibility, right? Accessibility for people and getting access to this data, which is increasingly maybe the most important asset that an enterprise has, is where the conversation has to start. And Sigma is the only platform today on the market that allows the diversity of access points. As I said before, whether you're a data scientist and you're writing Python, or you are a spreadsheet user because you've been working in the inventory team, or you want to engage with natural language via AI, or that you write SQL because you've got your history in either the database or beyond. You can do all of that in Sigma. And more importantly is that you can choose the access point for the job you're doing and know that the work that you're doing is shareable across all the other different types of skill sets. So this combined idea that I can choose one platform as an enterprise, roll it out globally, know that everybody in my company has a skill that can leverage that platform, but also know for the first time that I've connected all of those users. And so that they are more than the sum of their parts is an unlock for most enterprises. Now, coming back to the idea that if we've enabled all these people, how do we make sure that what we're giving them is truly the right data, that it is the right analysis? And this is where, when you employ everybody at what I refer to often as the periphery, right? We have people in warehouses and retail stores and hospitals. We have them all over the world at our enterprise. But one of the challenges we've had is that in the center, we have very little visibility to the periphery. And Sigma solves that problem. If you're working in a large bank or you're working at a retailer with outlets, for the first time, my person in the field can add data and view data, and I was going to say millions of miles away, but then you'd be in space. You could be many thousands of miles away, and you'll be able to see in real time, what is this person looking at? What data are they accessing? What input did they provide that now, by the way, I can make decisions on because I have access to? So this idea of connecting the periphery to the center, because we've enabled the entirety of the periphery, is the unlock for accurate data acted on in real time.
So if we were to zoom out just for a moment and try and look at the broader picture here, including everything from macroeconomics to future tech predictions, I'm curious, how do you see the role of things like cloud analytics and tools like Sigma evolving to meet the needs of diverse VC audiences, especially when analysing markets and performing due diligence, because it feels like the speed of technological change is moving at breakneck speed, but there's also that realisation that it might never move this slow again.
I think we have to be prepared for, velocity at all times. And that's a good thing. And obviously the job in the VC community is how do I sort the likely from the revolutionary, from the impossible. And, and I don't do that work. I focus specifically in how we provide better data access to users.
Yeah.
But I do often like to use patterns or a metaphor to think about our role in the world. And here in San Francisco, one of the easiest metaphors to reach to is the gold mining era, where we often talk about the difference between the gold miners and those that provided them picks and shovels. And, if we think about the future being difficult to predict, right? I think this was Casey Stengel, right? I never predict anything, especially the future. That we want to make sure that our product is an adoption vehicle for change. And if you're a VC today, the two most prominent letters that exist for you are AI. And your big sort of question is, where is AI going to impact enterprise? What's going to be the killer application? And what's the product that's going to enable that application? And these are really hard questions to answer. This is where prediction steps in. What Sigma does is provide the adoption vehicle for AI. Sigma is, again, the access point to users. We are the access point to massive amounts of data, which LLMs are predicated on, that ML is predicated on. So as we build more data science capability, as we build more AI into the things that we do every day, whether that is predicting inventory levels or trying to understand customer support engagement, what Sigma does is allow the evolution in the data to happen under the covers, and that the expression of the AI can get to the end user. We connect the spreadsheet user to the LLM. We connect the data science ML model to the person asking a natural language query that's trying to engage with an end customer. So, we think a lot about the fact that we add value directly to data, but we equally as importantly provide a future proof for those that understand that we can't necessarily know what we're going to do with data, with AI, with ML, or any other technology that comes along over the next few years, right? We want to know that we've provided ourselves the ability to take advantage of it when it comes, to do that in a way that there's guaranteed trust, where there's verifiability, and where there's access. And this is exactly the platform that Sigma has built.
And another topic I'd love to explore with you today is the sustainable technological growth. It's a topic of increasing importance. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up with you is when I was doing that little research on you before you came on the podcast today, I saw in your discussion on the New York Stock Exchange Floor Talk that you touched upon how at Sigma you also support sustainable tech growth. It's a topic very close to your heart. So can you just expand on that and maybe discuss how companies can actually integrate sustainability into their data analytics practices? Because I think it's something that a lot of business leaders want to do, but getting it right, that's where they need that helping hand.
I think that, sustainability, of course, has many definitions. And one of the simplest business definition for sustainability is, can I afford to do this over the long term? Yeah. It really becomes that simple. And enterprise is, just laden with complexity. So I offer a very simple definition as a first step for folks that are trying to be on this path. And that is, how do you make your individual employee more productive and do that with less tooling? It's just that simple. And I think the question that CIOs, CFOs, people across the enterprise want to know the answer to is, how do I'm paying I'm paying a lot of money to these individuals that show up every day with the best intentions to help my company improve and compete. But if I have to buy yet another product and somehow figure out how to manage it and integrate it, secure it and govern it, every time that there's a new opportunity, that is not sustainable. So how do I move from a world where I took lots of compute and storage and put it on AWS or Microsoft Azure? How do we take lots of databases and put them on Snowflake and Databricks? What Sigma's allowing companies to do is take lots of different departmental applications and consolidate them into one platform that is far more customizable, that is far less expensive, that is far easier to provide access to, and that doesn't require costly integrations. So we think a lot about the modern data stack really becoming a simpler architecture, a more flexible architecture, and a more accessible architecture over time.
So for any business leaders listening to our conversation today, anywhere in the world that are navigating the modern data era, trying to overcome the numerous challenges and opportunities along the way, how are you at Sigma proposing to address some of these challenges that they're currently encountering, and what future developments can we expect from Sigma in enhancing data analytics capabilities for users? I appreciate you're probably locked down to how much you can share, but any teasers you can share about how you're helping and what we can expect in the future?
So, I mean, I think we can expect, we can expect things that range from doing the things we've always done better and more efficiently to doing things that we never thought we could do before. Sigma, as I've said, even throughout this discussion, we've taken some of the activities around looking at historical data, which has been time consuming, where we've always had middle people between our ask and the ability to get the data we need to make our decision based on our ask. That sort of complexity is going away. And you should expect just continued focus on an end user's ability to do their job independently. At the same time, when we look forward, the idea that, for example, we can build novel applications on products like Sigma, build live on products like Snowflake and Databricks, that's something people haven't realized was possible. We have a feature called an input table, only product in the market that allows an end user to securely update the data warehouse so that they can, in effect, create their own applications. That is going to cause a significant rethink of the way that we do business today. In our VC landscape, I challenge our VCs to, how do they manage the companies that they're asset managers for? If you think about a portfolio company for a VC, I'm going to bet that 99% of the listening audience collects their quarterly results from those companies in a spreadsheet. And then they somehow import it into some software, and they just take this for granted. But the idea that companies can collaborate through Sigma in real time and avoid what I refer to as asynchronous process is pretty revolutionary. How about a portfolio company that just goes to a web page, puts their quarterly results in, and that automatically appears in your warehouse, and all your formulas run, and you give them immediate feedback as a result of that. We have that happening today. We have customers in inventory and supply chain management completely rethinking how they engage with their upstream and downstream customers, because those customers no longer have to have sophisticated software to engage with them. They don't need to send them a spreadsheet in order to, update their inventory levels. They could do that live and simply just in a web page. That is a world in which people can radically improve productivity, radically improve the velocity at which they do their business, radically improve accuracy. So those are the sort of things that you can anticipate coming from Sigma, as Sigma recognizes that as cloud evolved and as the cloud data warehouse came around, that we should be rethinking applications and workflows altogether.
Well, it's been a huge honor to have you on the podcast today. So much gold in your answers and your insights that you're sharing with everybody. And I've got to ask, on a personal level, whether it is in the workplace or in our personal lives, there's this almost real pressure on everyone to be in a state of continuous learning. So a question I'd love to ask you is, where or how do you self-educate? How do you keep up to speed with the non-stop technological change and everything in between? Anything you can share on how you keep up to speed on the trends and everything?
First of all, I appreciate your gold reference coming off my metaphor. That was a good follow on. One of the most fun things in my job, I have two very diverse audiences that I get to talk to and learn from every day. Number one is, because we work across all these different types of companies, listening to their problems, their opportunities, and how they see the world is the best education, because it's not theoretical. If you listen to a customer, they're not thinking about what might be true, what they might do, or they're solving their problem today. They're acting. They act with urgency. They engage us to help solve those problems. And those companies range from healthcare companies to financial services to retailers and everything in between. And that is just a ton of fun. That education that I get from customers not only informs our product and our company, but, obviously it just informs me. And I find it fascinating. At the same time, I have one of the most fun things I do in my job, aside from that, is I meet everybody that joins the company. We do a one-on-one when they start. And it's important for me to do that, not just because we want to build a great culture here, and culture is predicated on relationships, but also because you want to talk to them when they join, not when they've been here a year. When they've been here a year, they're sort of enculturated. They know what Sigma knows. But when they join here, they're coming with ideas without really understanding Sigma. And so collecting all those diverse perspectives and then thinking about their implications for us is a really, really important and unique opportunity. So, I would say that we all have the ability to self-educate just by, talking to the people that work with us and depend on us every day.
Beautiful. And I think that's a perfect moment to end our conversation today. But before I do let you go, for anyone listening, wanting to find out more about Sigma Computing, maybe explore the topic we've discussed today or in more detail, or even contact you or your team or connect with you, where would you like to point everyone listening?
Well, first of all, it wouldn't be my inner marketer says you definitely need to go to sigmacomputing.com.
Yeah.
But I'd also offer always my email address at palmer@sigmacomputing.com. I love to engage in these conversations and hear what people think. I know that I only have a part of the view of what's going on in the world. So going back to self-education, I think those conversations are super important. And then I would definitely encourage folks to engage with our various events, whether they are webinars or the ones that we physically host with our partners like Snowflake and Databricks out in the field. We have some exciting regional events. And of course, there are the big summits coming up in June where you can hear a lot more from Sigma.
Well, so much I loved from our conversation today. And I think the big takeaway is making high quality decisions based on high quality data involves a combination of things like data awareness, accuracy, collaboration, communication, governance, accessibility, tools, culture, and a commitment to ongoing improvement. And I think collectively, these elements create that strong foundation for data-driven decision-making within organizations. I do urge anybody listening to check out the website. I'll put a link on the show notes so people can find you nice and easily. But again, just thank you for sharing your insights with me today.
It was absolutely my pleasure. It was nice to spend time with you.
So as we wrap up today's conversation with Mike Palmer, I think it's clear that the landscape of business intelligence and data analytics is not just changing, it's almost undergoing a revolution. And Sigma Computing stands out at the forefront of this transformation by breaking down barriers to data access and empowering businesses to leverage real-time collaboration, forecasting, and decision automation. But it's that journey towards a data-driven future that is filled with, yes, challenges, but also opportunities. And things like high-quality data governance, the simplification of complex tools, along with the development of new collaboration platforms, it feels like it's just the beginning. So as we look to the horizon, one question remains though. How will you or how will your organization adapt and embrace these advancements in business intelligence to help you drive growth and innovation in your organization? As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of today's topics and how you see technology impacting your work, your life, and indeed world. Please share your thoughts and join the conversation as we continue to explore how technology is solving real-world problems, making complex tech accessible, and adding value to both our businesses and lives. And as always, you can do that by just techblogwriteroutlook.com, sliding into the DMs on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, just at Neil C. Hughes. Connect on there, but don't just hit connect or follow. Send me a little message. I'd love to hear from you. But I'm afraid that's it for today, so just thank you for listening as always, and until next time, don't be a stranger.